Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Thursday afternoon. I hope you're okay. I hope you're right. I hope the day's treated you well, whatever it is that you've been up to today. In this video, we are talking about the Mathys Tel situation, the value that's sort of been reported, what that might look like. Have obviously a bit of an update as to like what teams are sort of looking at him. So we're going through that as well, and why Spurs may have a leg up on some, but not all. So we're talking about that as well. I want to be talking about the game, obviously, this evening at 8 p.m. UK time, Elfsborg, of the last round of the Europa League. And I want to talk about something that Ian Wright said, because Ian Wright has come out and really understood what it is to be a fan of a football club more than other pundits do. So let's jump in and let's talk about it. Look. Oh, sorry. Let me say good mornings to everyone. Morning, Spurs, Deborah, XL, Jake, Adiz, Jessica, Steve, Adventurous, Seabay, the Wizard. How are we all? So look, Mathys Tel. Now, this is one I think some are quite excited by. Some are not as blown away by. Some are skeptical of. And I get it. I totally get it. He hasn't really done much this season. You know, he's not done much this season, and you know, and you have to be fair, and you have to be consistent. I talk about Marcus Rashford not being good for multiple years, Jack Grealish not being good for multiple years. Mathys Tel's not been good this season. Now, last season was a bit different. This season, not so good. So look, let's jump in and let's talk, because Fabrizio Romano puts out that one more club has called today for Mathys Tel. Aston Villa have also asked for deals on the conditions of the deal. John Duran is leaving Villa for Al Nassr, which I'm going to go through the figure in a minute. There are currently 7 clubs involved. It's bonkers. He's got such a market at the moment. It's absolutely bonkers. You know, there's more in this, but to give you an idea, John Duran's moving to Al Nassr for 75 million euros plus bonuses. Now, Villa, obviously, yes, revenue-wise, earn quite a bit less than Spurs. We all understand that. That's kind of proven. But if you're selling a player for 75 million euros, you probably could do a bit of business with that, right? Pretty sure? Yeah. So obviously, them being involved, it plays a part. When you look at what else has been said, they said that Mathys Tel's race is heating up. Johan Lang was in Munich last night. Chelsea are there for a permanent deal. Man United have called for a loan. So look, if Bayern want to sell him, and I don't know if they truly do or not, but if Bayern want to sell him, you would think Man United are now behind the 8 ball. They've not got the money to spend. Chelsea do. He wants regular game time. Chelsea don't really guarantee any attacker regular game time other than Jackson and Palmer. Madueke doesn't get it. Nkunku hasn't got it. Mudryk never got it. Sancho doesn't get it. So you've got so many attacking options. He's not going to be guaranteed the game time that he truly wants. Yes, at Spurs he would. At Villa, I don't think he's going to get regular game time, but you get a good amount. Man United, something similar. But obviously, if Man United are wanting a loan deal, not a permanent, and Bayern are wanting a permanent, not a loan, kind of rules them out a little bit. Now, that doesn't mean Manchester United couldn't get a deal done, but they probably need to defer some payments, move some things around, maybe get rid of a few players. They're going to need time. Spurs can just do this now. They just do it right this second. Okay? Like we talked about, there's one of the PSR sort of experts said that Spurs could spend 180 million and not have any problems. We could spend more than that, for sure. So, yeah, there's that being involved. But, you know, Spurs are wanting a permanent deal. L'Equipe is saying that Spurs are the most active club in the past few hours to try and sign Mathys Tel. Johan Lang travelled to Munich to hold talks with Bayern and convince the player both a loan and a permanent deal are on the table. So there's that. There's that first bit, okay? Because there's more to talk about on this deal. You know, let me know your thoughts and feelings about are you wanting Mathys Tel? You're not wanting him? I mean, when we look at this season, he's played in 14 games, playing just over 450 minutes. So he's not playing a ton of football, if I'm honest. He's got 1 assist in those 14 games. He averages 30, he pretty much averages 30 minutes a game. That's pretty much all he's averaging. He's, 91 minutes in the Champions League over 3 games. That's 30 minutes. The Bundesliga, 253 minutes in 8 games. It's just over 30 minutes. I think it's like 32 minutes a game. The DFB Pokal, he's played 114 minutes, so he's averaging about 35 minutes a game. So he's not really playing a ton of football this season, which is weird. I won't lie, it is weird. When we sort of look at, I'm just going to bring up his stats from the previous year because this is going to give you an understanding as to who he is. So last season, obviously, he would have been 18 years old. And yeah, he would have been 18 years old. He played 41 games across the Bundesliga, the Champions League, the DFB Pokal, and the DFL Super Cup. He played 41 times. He scored 10, assisted 6. So 16 goal contributions, averaging averaging a goal contribution every sort of 2.5 games. So for an 18-year-old, that's not pretty bad, is it? Let's see what we will think. It could be a good deal. Yeah, I've seen that Naipan because I signed him on Football Manager. So I know he's pretty decent. Don't want him. He doesn't want Arsenal, no. About the only forward available suits a youth policy. Maybe loan with obligation to buy or certain points achieved. Will he or won't he? He must know that the team is broken due to his physical tightness. Well, he knows that, that's for sure. 100% want him. Special talent. I've wanted Tel since I first saw him at Rennes. More than Andy, more chance of getting William Tel. Or tell me more, Simon. Look, if I'm real, last year was obviously quite a good season for him. He didn't play much more football than he has this season. That is the only thing I would say. But he does play across the front three. So he gives you some versatility. Now, Fabrice Hawkins was saying that Bayern Munich want somewhere between 50 to 60 million euros to sell Tel permanently. We're pushing. Manchester United and Arsenal are also in the mix, as are Aston Villa. Obviously, we know about the Villa situation. They will have a bit of money. Arsenal, I don't know if Arsenal would go for him. Am I being a bit foolish there? I just don't think he'd be going for him, but maybe. Manchester United, yeah, well, they want a loan, so you'd think we'd be ahead of Manchester United. Obviously, Paulo keeps saying he wants Man United. If Bayern can't get a permanent deal that they want, then yeah, Man United might be then leaping up the leaderboard to get him, But if they want a sale, then Man United are going to be further down the list. He's looking for first Arsenal United main target, but Arsenal is second because it's between us, Villa, and Chelsea. And Fraser Campbell, Christ, is Tel injured. No, he played last night. He's not a right winger. What's their main concern? I feel since Tel is Tel plays across the front three, mate. He plays across the front three. Arsenal want Watkins, really. They're not going to get him now. Not with Durant going to Saudi. They're not getting him. Can you see Villa selling Watkins and Durant? No, I can't. If they would sell both of those and get Mathys Tel, I would riot as an Aston Villa fan. Absolutely riot. So yeah, no, definitely not. So look, we have a bit of an idea of how much he's going to cost. Let's see what happens. Obviously, they played last night, Bayern. Obviously, us playing tonight really shouldn't slow down this deal. Johan Lang is not needed to watch Spurs. I don't want you at Spurs games, mate. I want you doing deals. Once the market's done and you're done with your business, come back to the Spurs games, enjoy it, kick your feet up, have some overpriced food and some flat beer. Go for it. But all the while the transfer market's open, I want you doing deals. I don't want you at the football games unless you have smashed the market. You're like, yeah, we're done 2 weeks early. Then enjoy yourself, Grealish is not on the table. Would they go for Gyökeres if they did? No idea. I think we'll go to Villa, Watkins, main striker. Well, maybe they've got the money for it. That's for sure. So look, we'll see about Mathys Tel. We shall see. Obviously, look, I want to talk about the Ian Wright situation, and then I'm going to talk about the game. Ian Wright, former Arsenal striker, former Crystal Palace striker, former England striker, right? A man that I think is widely respected across football for quite unbiased views. Wrighty has been do you know what? Really, do you know what? I really enjoyed listening to Righty. He's good on the overlap. He's good on TV. And he was talking about Tottenham. And actually, whenever he's talked about Tottenham, I've listened to him and I've gone, yeah, okay, he's an Arsenal player. He's an Arsenal fan. But he's got more sense than some of the Spurs, ex-Spurs players on TV. And he's talking about Spurs. And he talked about Daniel Levy. He says, you look at Tottenham as a business, unbelievable, unbelievably run. If Levy had the same energy for trying to win something for Tottenham, they'd be winning something. Remember, they had arguably one of the greatest goal scorers in English history in respects of he came through the academy and he didn't build anything around that. How many golden boots did Harry get in the end? Was it 3 or 4? You got somebody who's capable of doing that. You don't build a team around him. They should have been winning things and they haven't won anything, have they? Tottenham used to win trophies, used to win FA Cups, and they used to win stuff. Levy, he's the one. They've got to get Levy out and get an owner in who wants to win something. I don't care what you think about Ian Wright. I don't care if you have a problem with his Arsenal allegiances. That is an unbiased man speaking about a football club who should be doing better, who should be doing more, who should be competing. You know, he has more sense than most pundits on TV. He's got more sense than, I mean, even Keane was sitting next to him. Keane's a Spurs fan. Roy Keane is a Spurs fan sitting next to him going, but righty, that's just what they do. It's like, yeah, but we shouldn't be accepting that's what they do. That shouldn't be what we accept. We should be accepting the idea of, hey, they're going all out. They're signing some of the best players in the world. They're competing. I mean, we earn more money than Arsenal and Chelsea, yet they spend money and we don't. That should be red flags. That should be alarm bells ringing. Aston Villa, who earn like 60% of what we earn, really spend their money, really go for it. We don't. We shouldn't be accepting. And the key thing, can I just say as well, guys, because there's so many people that have clicked off because I've stopped talking about transfers. But for the people that are still here, signing Mathys Tel does not change anything for me. And it shouldn't change anything for you. Signing Johan Visser as well as Mathys Tel does not change anything. It does not fix anything. Because people get lured in, and this is what happens in football. Man United's owners have done this for years. They manipulated their own fans, where they make them miserable, they make them sad. They sign 1 or 2 players, and then the fans are just grateful they've signed players, and they fall into that trap. We're on this channel not falling into that trap. We are going to be on it every single time. Signing 2 players into this window does not fix this window. It failed. It's still a failure. They should have done these deals ages ago. Over 4 weeks in, no outfall signing, you know. Annoyingly accurate from Ian Wright. Ian's on the money. But even when a rival was right, they're right. End of story. Roy Keane is a Spurs fan, yeah. Aston Villa also have one of the richest owners in the league. Yeah, but it's not about how much money they have because it's about PSR and FFP. You know? It helps that he's rich, but he can't spend £1 billion on a transfer window, you know? Morning, Les. How are you? Dibbling deal hijacked. We'll see about that. Imagine, let's say Spurs finish 18th in the Prem, but win the Europa, they'll still be in the. Yeah, they'll be in the champ. If you win the Europa, you're in the Champions League. Agreed on deals, Andy. Still need a 6. Yeah, exactly. How are we all, by the way, for the people that just joined? But look, he's so spot on. Absolutely spot on. I love it. Righty is completely right. And Righty's been right about Spurs quite a few times in the last sort of few months. He's been more right than, people had a problem like Dawson on Sky Sports shouldn't have Dawson talking for Spurs. He's paid by Daniel Levy. He can't go out and, slag him off. Don't have Jamie O'Hara on because he ain't got a clue. You can't have someone that's paid by the club. You know what I mean? You can't, because they're not going to slag the club off. They're not going to slag the owners off because they get paid. That's their boss. Behind closed doors, they might say something. And I doubt Dawson, what he said on TV is truly what he thinks. But he can't go out there and go, Levy's an idiot, Levy's this, Levy's that, because, he gets paid. He's an ambassador for Spurs, So look, appreciate Righty for his comments because he's bang spot on. And it was good that someone on a big platform like the Overlap or whatever it is, Stick to Football, whatever it's called, he's absolutely bang on. So I rate that. Dawson, Jamie Hard, 2 opposite sides of coin. Jamie just slags, but yeah, you know what I mean? What happened? Imagine we're definitely not. Yeah, Conte spoke about Spurs and then bottled it. So Jose stuck to his after he left Spurs. He very much said what he wanted to say. Conte kind of bottled it, to be honest. What Abby Summers? Oh, yeah, she's put out a show on Talksport called Inside Spurs. Brilliant. Cheers, guys. Brilliant. That's not gonna be a pain for me, is it? That is the same as the media fishing for Ange. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let's talk about the game tonight. Come on, we're gonna be positive. Game tonight. Spurs, 8 p.m. at home, Elfsborg. Looking forward to this game. I'm not gonna sue her, mate. It's not that like that. It's it's definitely a lack of research on their part. There's a few whoever's on. I can't remember the people on that channel, but there's definitely the lack of research is probably a little bit worrying. But Spurs have a thing called Inside Spurs on their own channel, so it's not that deep. It's not that deep. But they probably should have done a bit of research and been a bit more imaginative with their name. That's all I'm going to say. But look, let's talk about the game tonight because I don't really care about anyone but Spurs at the moment. Okay, so Spurs 8 p.m. tonight, obviously 7.5 hours away now till kickoff for the last round of the Europa League. Now, Spurs obviously in a beautiful position right this second where they control their destiny. They control their destiny. You know, the beautiful situation is that yeah, you could even get through with a draw. Now you're putting the potential risk in other people's hands. But if you were to win, you're through, you're cruising, you get to have a little bit of time off from football. I'm not saying you get like weeks off, but you might have to not play a midweek game for once, which can't lie. I'm looking at like your Heung-Min Sons. I'm looking at Kulusevskis and Archie Grays right now, and I'm going, you could do with a few days off. You could do with just chilling and playing a bit of PlayStation midweek and just kicking your feet up, you know? Um, I think that's really, really desperate in my eyes. I'm just desperate for them. I'm tired watching them play football. They must be shattered playing 3 times a week. So, look, tonight we should have enough to get through. That's not a dig at Elfsborg. You know, there's quite a few really cool people that have been keeping up with the channel recently. Some of them are Elfsborg fans, some of them are Swedish league fans of other clubs, and they've sort of come in and gone, oh, here's a little bit of news on Elfsborg. And what they've said is they're quite compact. They hit you on the counter. They play long. They're not too worried about possession. So when I talked about when Elfsborg played Nice in round 7 of 8 of the Europa League and they had 31% possession, expect us to have about 70% possession. So knowing they're going to sit back, knowing they're going to be compact, you've got to be able to break them down. And no Maddison, that's obviously a concern. That's going to put a lot more pressure on, you know, your Pedro Porros, your Kulusevskis to be creative. And I think a lot of your creative play will come down the right. You know, balls into the box, you know, all those things. So let's be real. This game tonight, I don't want Son to start. I don't. Look, if Ange wants to pick him, it's his team. I get it. I would like Mikey Moore to start. And if you need Son to come off the bench for the last sort of half an hour, then he comes off the bench for the last half an hour. But could you imagine playing a game tonight and Son just not even touching the pitch unless he's just having a little bit of a warm up? Son at the weekend for Brentford, rested. Hell, Son then getting to Liverpool next week and having a little bit more in the tank. That for me would be crucial. So I want to see a little bit of Mikey tonight. I'd expect to see Lancashire feature it tonight as well. No issues with Richie starting, but Richie playing 50 minutes, 60 minutes, getting him off, resting him. The idea for me is get the game done 60 minutes in. Be 3-0 up. Get it done. Get some of these players off. Get them off. I do not want to see players like Heung-Min Son playing 90 minutes, Richarlison playing 80 minutes. Get 60 minutes, get 3-0 up, get them off. We need them because the next game after that and the two following that, Brentford away, Liverpool away, Villa away. It's a brutal run of fixtures, and we could do with getting some of those guys who do not have the ability to get rotated due to Solanke being injured and, you know, all those things. I'm not going to go any further. We need them fit. We really need them fit. Okay. So let's get those guys get the game done 60 minutes and get them off the pitch. Move on. Obviously, Mickey, he will be in the squad tonight, which should be good. I think with Mickey, 10-15 minutes tonight. Just get the legs moving again. Just get some yards into the legs, ready for the next stretch of games. Obviously, they might have Romero in the squad, but again, if Romero's in the squad, you could, in theory, have a situation where you're going to go, we're going to get you 10-15 minutes as well. We can push Ben out to left back. You know, maybe you get Archie Gray into the midfield, or you get him off. Getting those two centre backs back in there for some game time, which would be lovely. Basuma should be back in the squad. I'm just going through the things in my head. Vicario was in training, so could Vic start tonight? I think it might be a step too soon, but he's getting close. Biss is back in the squad. Sar's back in the squad. Obviously, Mathys is going to miss out. You got Bergval, you got Benton, of course. You've got some midfield options. And the other thing as well, like when I was saying that if you're 3-0 up, get one of those midfielders off and put Oluseyi on. Don't put Sar on, or don't put Basuma, whoever's on the bench, don't put them on. Get them another week rest. Get Oluseyi on for half an hour. You should still have enough to get past the Elfsborg team with, a few 18-year-olds on the pitch. We did it go away to Frank Varosh, so we should still have enough. So, yeah. Obviously, I don't know if Romero be in the squad. It might be a Brentford fixture he'll be back for. It was just an idea that if he could get 10-15 minutes tonight, he might get 10-15 minutes tonight. Who else might? Obviously, Johnson will be out. Mathys will be out. Spence, obviously, not playing tonight. He'll be back at the weekend, you would think. Like I said, Vic was in training. He has trained this week, Vic, which is still interesting. That is interesting. Obviously, he is European. He can play in Europe. So, obviously, Kinski can't, so we know that. Just trying to think who else. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone else that I'm missing. Basuma, Sarr, Van der Ven, Richie's not injured. Vic's back in training. Romero's done some training. He was doing gym work the other day, but he has trained some light training. They might not risk Romero. They might just say, look, we got Mickey. We'll give him 10-15. Let's not risk Romero. That's about it. Obviously, Spence will be back at the weekend. And before, if you compare last weekend, right? So, obviously, that was the Leicester game. And I'm not going to talk about it. Don't worry. You compare last weekend to this weekend coming. Romero should be back. Mickey Van der Ven should be back. Spence should be back. That's three of you back four. Obviously, I know Destiny's out, so that's three of you back four back, which is massive. You could even go, all right, Porro, you're going to get a rest. We're going to put Spence at right back. Davies is going at left back. You could do that. You then, because I wouldn't mind Porro getting a bit of rest, knowing that, hey, Liverpool's next week. It's in the week. And we've got Villa at the weekend. I wouldn't mind Ben Davies playing against Brentford. Spence at right back, maybe, and then Spence in the week going to the left back to deal with Salah. Midfield, Bentancur, Bergval. Whoever's fitter between Sarr and Basuma. I don't really know who, but whoever's fitter would probably play. And if it's Sarr, he plays at the 8. If it's Basuma, then Bentancur go play at the 8, which I think would give us a better balance. Bergval, I guess, would be an 8/10. You'd pretty much play the 2 8/10s. Obviously, will he go and start Son and Mikey Moore on the right with Kulusevski in the midfield? Maybe, but to be honest, you should still have enough with Kulu out on the right. And that's another player. I talked about Son, talked about Richie. Kulu could do with getting half an hour rest tonight. He should be able to give you 60 minutes. And you get him off. Getting someone on instead. I wouldn't start Son. I'd start more Richie and Kulu up front. I would get Richie off for Lancashire. Maybe get someone off for Kulu. Getting a midfielder off, maybe moving Archie Gray into midfield. Davies out to left back with Mickey Van der Ven coming in for like last sort of 10-15. Could be a play. I don't know what you guys think about that idea, but it could be a play. Vic was doing some groundwork. He was saving some shots, so he could be. Scarlett won't feature. because if he features, he has to stay with the club for the rest of the season because he would have played them for 2 teams. So I don't think he'll be featuring. Ange encourages hierarchy to buy players that in time will be good enough to achieve the ultimate aim using the style of play. Should not be happy with merely getting the best out of a poor squad. Kudos on both. They do need rest. They do. Binny guy, they do. If you cannot have a good fight with young ones without some of the senior players, Spurs. Well, look, I think some of the issues, mate, is that some of the youngsters have given off more of a fight, you know? Where is Spencer Doggy's recovery at? Well, Doggy is not going to be back for a little while yet. They actually predicted Doggy to be ahead of schedule. So the chat was he'd be back early March. They reckon he's going to be back maybe 2 or 3 weeks before that. So it might be about mid-Feb. You might see Destiny back. But yeah, he is supposedly ahead of schedule. With Spence obviously picked up a knock against... Who was the team that we played before Leicester in the Prem? Was it Newcastle? I can't remember who it was. Someone's going to have to help me here. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, he picked up a knock in that game. So he was a doubt for Everton. Attaboy, Wizard. Janice, thank you. It was Everton. So in the Everton game, he picked up a knock. Couldn't play, obviously, Leicester. Obviously, missed Hoffenheim in the week. He's going to miss this time. So he's going to have had about 2 weeks off, Spence. He's going to be fit. Oh, my God. We're going to have someone that might have some legs in them. So, yeah, I think he'll be back for Brentford at the weekends. It's not a long-term injury, Spence. It was one of those knocks where he's just sore. With Mathys, I've got a feeling Mathys is going to miss Liverpool because he was out last weekend. He's out for 2 to 3 weeks, right? That was last weekend. Got injured against Hoffenheim. It would have been a week today. I think Mathys is going to miss Liverpool. He may just get back for Villa, but he'll miss Liverpool. Odebear is mid-February. Johnson, I expect, is probably something similar early to mid-Feb. Basuma got past his injury quite quickly, apparently, which is good. As much as you may not rate Basuma, he's competent enough from time to time, so it's something. So yeah, I think that's probably it. Porro needs a break. Yeah, he does need a break. He's played the most minutes out of all of our players. Porro just needs a weekend. He needs a week off. He just unfortunately can't get a week off, which is a bit of a shame. I think Steampunk, how are you, mate, by the way? I think Porro this weekend, don't play him. I'd have him on the bench, but don't play him. I'd have Spence and Davies playing. And do they go Dragic with maybe Mickey and have Romero on the bench and just save Romero for Liverpool? And maybe get Romero 20 minutes, half an hour at the weekend. They could do that potentially. We'll see. Ed reckons Vic, Porro, Dragic, Davies, Gray, Bentancur, Basuma, Bergvall, Son, Kulusevski, and more. Vicario, Porro, Dragic, Davies, Gray, Bentancur, Basuma, Bergvall, Son, Kulusevski, more. I probably agree with you, Eds. It might be Austin over Vicario, but I probably would agree with you. Yeah, if Vic's 100% and can go, we'll play Vic. But if not, Austin. And I probably would say that's the team that I would agree with. Maybe not. Maybe Richie over Son, though. I would say, yeah, Son on the bench, more on the left, Kulu on the right, Richie through the centre. He's not sacking Ange, don't worry. I'd give Porro some rest. Yeah. Well, not tonight. You won't be able to get rest for him tonight. But, I mean, you could even factor in, hey, you could get a midfielder off, get Oluseyi on, you get Porro off, slide Gray over to right back, put Davies out to left back, put Mickey in for 15, 20 minutes. You could do that. We could do that. I don't know about Lancashire. I don't know. Would have come go down. Spurs, Tel and Rashi in. You're not going to get Rashford. Give him a week more to rest. Yeah, but a part of me also kind of goes, if you can get Mickey for 10, 15 minutes tonight, Romero, half an hour at the weekend. You've given them you've given them some game time leading into Liverpool and Villa. So that means their body isn't sort of having to really massively adjust to the triggers of really intense football, you know? Sorry, Boris, I get what you're saying. Son isn't finished. No. Has anyone seen the interview? No, I haven't. Someone in the Discord has sent it, but I haven't watched it yet. I was busy this morning. I think Kulu needs a rest, maybe Gray in midfield. No, Gray will be at defence tonight. Unless he thinks Mickey can play from the off, which I wouldn't even want him to, but he might. Obviously, we aren't in training. We don't know what goes on. If a player's ready to go, you're ready to go, you know. But I think Mickey will play a handful of minutes, nothing mental, just to get the body going again, you know. I don't know, was in training, I was bugging. I don't know, mate. I wasn't paying enough attention. Just got home for the gym, haven't missed anything important. We talked about Tel, the value of him. It's all at the start. You probably need to watch the first 10 minutes afterwards, Indiana, mate. I will watch it. Don't worry. When I've got time, I will. Yeah, I think, yeah, Boris, 10, 15 minutes is that's all we need. 10, 15 minutes for Mickey. Gets the legs going, gets the yards back into the legs ahead of obviously a really, really mental next 10 days. You know, it's not just the Brentford away game. It's not, you know, you've got a cup semi-final to make it to the EFL Cup final. You obviously got an FA Cup fourth round where if you start to factor in that competition, Arsenal already out. There's other Premier League teams already out. Villa would be out if we knock them out. They'd be out. Just saying, you could factor that in. I mean, just having a quick look. Do you want to have a look at how the table finished the Champions League? Oh, Villa just snuck in. They just snuck in right at the end. They're in 8th. There you go. I thought they might have had to play a playoff game, but they got away. They got away. Am I getting cold? No, I'm not. Brentford game, I do not care about. I would play those who need fitness of 15-year-olds. Appreciate that, Ange Smith. Ange, what a lovely name. Hit the lights. Appreciate that. And then on Brentford's, maybe. And just like a character, 100%. Second to this, of course. Yeah, no, got that. Oh, Gil. Is that Brian Hill at the bottom that's just commented? Yeah, no, I've watched it. Jazz has sent it into Discord, so I will be watching it a little bit later whilst I've got a bit of downtime. But we shall see. Just have a quick look to see if there's any chance news that I need to care about. We're linked with a Nuremberg startlet who is more likely to go to Brighton. Okay. Well, we'll look at that another time. I'm not bothered about it right this second. 151 of you are watching me on a Thursday afternoon. What have you guys got nothing better to do? Jesus. Dibbling in summer potentially. City with other Real Bayern. We're looking at a kid. Yeah, no, just had a look at that. Yeah, no, it's mental to say. Right. Thank you so much for watching this afternoon. I am going to head off to go walk a dog. I will be back maybe right after the Elfsborg game to discuss it. It may be tomorrow morning. So keep an eye out after the game. Just have a quick look on YouTube, see if I'm live. Obviously, for the people in the Discord, I will put if I'm going live as well for that. Obviously, if you do want to join the Discord, it's free. You're more than welcome to. Here is the link. It updates quite frequently. So by all means, join. And you'll keep up to date. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Take care. Peace.